Hello, I'm Rachel from Douentza Garden in Ireland, and welcome to my third video about the amazing Chatuchak Plant Market in Bangkok. We've already looked at Cacti, we've looked at Aroids, and there will be a fourth video just about orchids. But today's video is about all of the remaining plants at this fabulous market, from Hoyas to variegated fishtail palms. So let's get right on to it. I'm not going to keep you waiting. We're going to start with Hoyas today. And just a little reminder that these videos were shot over 2 consecutive days in Chatuchak Plant Market several months ago. The Hoya is known as the wax flower, and the genus contains over 500 species of plant. Among these there are 40 Thai species of Hoya, but new species are regularly discovered. There is an extensive selection of Hoyas available at Chatuchak Market from several different stalls. Just look at how many different varieties are on offer. Hoyas, as you may already know, are mostly epiphytic or lithophytic vines with leathery or succulent leaves. The flowers are often fragrant and quite breathtaking. They're held in umbels. I suppose Hoya carnosa is the best known among houseplant enthusiasts, but there are a lot of people out there who specialise in growing Hoyas, always looking out for the new and unusual. Let's move on to another climbing plant, although you'd never guess it a climber from these potted varieties. This is bougainvillea, a thorny but beautiful vining plant that, although native to South America, has become naturalised in many European Mediterranean countries. It comes in a variety of candy colours. You can see here how some plants have been trained as a standard, a practice that is quite popular. I've seen it from Morocco to Malaysia. Here is a handsome variegated form, trained as a standard to look like a small tree. And over here we can see bougainvillea trained as bonsai. They look quite gorgeous when in flower. There are a number of other bonsais in evidence, but I can't say they're terribly popular at the market. All that clipping and spraying is time-consuming, too time-consuming for me, but it's nice to appreciate when a plant has been grown well and tended well. This really massive bonsai is very striking with its gnarled bark and impressively mature trunk. The deep, rich mahogany colour also adds to its appeal. Now we're taking a little look at some plants from the Gesneriid family. They seem to be all episcias, no African violets and no streptocarpus. I've already seen episcias grown widely in pots in Malaysia, despite the fact that this genus comes from Central and South America. This African violet relative makes a very well-behaved pot plant, and the pink-leaved varieties are quite beautiful. That's a ludicea, a terrestrial orchid. Another popular houseplant is the begonia, and there are some recognisable cultivars on show here. Moving on to bigger plants and a cycad that is just enormous. Such a fine specimen. I was puzzled first by these propagations and thought they were cycad stem cuttings, although they're a bit hairy for that. Actually, here we can see that the same cutting material has started into growth, and now they look more like ferns than cycads. Speaking of ferns, here are a few interesting ones. But before we leave the subject of ferns, let's have a look at some glorious staghorn ferns. Native to the rainforests of Australia and Southeast Asia, this epiphytic plant typically grows in the forks of trees. Staghorn ferns have two types of fronds, antler fronds and shield fronds. Antler fronds grow up to 90 centimetres long, are usually branched and are reminiscent of deer antlers. They carry reproductive spores on their underside. Shield fronds, on the other hand, are round, plate-like leaves that surround the base of the plant. Their function is to protect the plant roots and take up water and nutrients. Young shield fronds are green but turn brown and dry up as they mature. There are loads of pretty ceramic pots for sale, some glazed and some not. Here we have some adorably quirky little pots, all of which I'd gladly bring home. There are some more refined shops with less rustic pots and ornaments like these. To give an idea of the pricing, 100 Thai baht converts to $2.90. Here we have the lower end of the scale and some tiny pots that start at 15 Thai baht. That's 43 US cents. We also have large heliconia and gingers for sale. These are really big specimens that you could put straight into your garden and have a healthy clump straight away. How wonderful it'd be to have a garden in Thailand and grow these absolute beauties. But if these aren't fancy enough for you, just look at what we have here just beyond the purple flowered datura. It's a variegated heliconia and absolutely magnificent. Here the bright variegation perfectly complements the flowers. Finally, we have the torch ginger. Etlingera is a genus of herbaceous perennials in the ginger family, a genus of more than 100 species found in tropical regions of the world. And sparked by the variegated heliconia, let's take a look at some other variegated plants. This is a variegated peacock flower. So beautiful. And just look at these. These are variegated baobab trees from Africa, small ones. Here we have some variegated stromanthe and calathea, both great houseplants. And here we have a variegated fishtail palm. You can see straight away how variegated foliage is really susceptible to burning. But isn't this just the prettiest foliage on this palm tree? There are lots of water lilies and lotus for sale too. Such beautiful varieties can be grown in this climate. And for those who are more adventurous, there is plenty of seed to choose from. These are generous packets of seed with plenty in them. Don't you just hate when you buy a packet of seeds and get around 12 individual seeds? But maybe that's just me. I did hear a fellow gardener once, when they were recommending a seed website, say that one advantage of that site was fewer seeds in packages, so less wastage. One thing that does surprise me a bit here is how few nepenthes plants are on offer, especially as they're native to this part of the world. Nepenthes are of course grown as a houseplant at home in Ireland. Here we have portions of moss, all meted out into boxes. Could be handy for those nepenthes. Oh my. Let's have a sniff of this gardenia while we're in the neighbourhood. Oh my goodness. That'd bring a smile to the face of even a stone gargoyle. Now we have some trees, big and small. Actually, this looks like the cycad propagation I talked about earlier. This looks like a liquala palm tree, some of which are indigenous to this part of the world. And now it's time to wrap up this visit to Chatuchak Market. I hope you've enjoyed your time here with me and that you'll check out the other videos in this series, all of which are linked in the video description below. I will make one final Chatuchak video after Christmas about orchids, so subscribe to be notified about that. And perhaps, as the turkey is being digested, you might also want to take a look at my 2 Malaysia videos. One about the fabulous Rafflesia, biggest flower in the world. I actually saw 6 of them in Borneo. And the other video about the plants in a 130 million year old rainforest. Both are also linked in the description down below. As they pack up the plants here at Chatuchak Market, it only remains for me to thank you for watching and for all of your wonderful support over the last year. Hopefully with your help I can make that number of 60,000 subscribers by Christmas. I take the opportunity to thank you once again and to wish you a fantastic Christmas and a happy New Year. Bye!